What's going on, guys? Orms Farm coming at you guys with another video. Today's video, I'm going to do the aftermath. Sorry I'm a day late. Things come up. This is the preview, week 17. Detroit Lions win this football game in a thriller, 40-34. 74 points being scored in this football game. No defense being played whatsoever. Lions going up to 14-2, taking that one spot still from the NFC North and having that NFC seed overall. Number one locked up right now. Not locked up, but as of right now, we have it. It's going to come down to Minnesota next week. We'll talk about that later. The 49ers fallen to 6-10. Been out of playoff contention for the past couple weeks now. So the Lions win, back on top of the North. Right now, they got the NFC overall. I got that one seed. Nothing locked up just yet, but no defense being played once again. It's kind of been that kind of story going on with the Detroit Lions for the past month. That's no fault to guys like Aaron Glenn, no fault to Brad Holmes not doing his job, picking up guys. These injuries are catching up, guys. And, the reality is we have a phenomenal offense, and they're keeping us in these games, and they're winning us ball games. They really are. With a couple splashes of some plays from guys like Kirby Joseph, we'll talk about him and stuff like that. We're going to need stuff like that down the road. 1, 2, 3 stops. Or this is what we're going to get. We're getting the cardiac cats. That's exactly what we're going to be getting, guys. It just sucks. These injuries are just piling on, and we didn't get anybody hurt yesterday. We did have right tackle Penei Sewell with a thumb injury. I think he went in early in the second. He went in the second quarter, like right before the half. Get it checked out. Everything good. He came back. 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy did get hurt, throwing elbow. He got hurt a couple years ago with that throwing elbow, I believe in the playoffs it was. Surgery, I believe, I think a couple years ago. I think it was against the Eagles, if I can remember. He says he's not feeling that great. His elbow doesn't feel that good, but we'll see if he plays next week. They really got nothing to play for. They got some decisions to make as well. But let's go to the stats, guys. We'll get the stats out of the way. We'll the Lions first. They are the road team. The offense, quarterback Jared Goff, it was 26 for 34. He played really well. 303 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He was sacked twice, 76% completion percentage. He was slicing and dicing up the San Francisco 49ers. Just adding to the resume. He should be in talks of MVP. Will they win it? Probably not. But he should be in talks more than he is. I don't think it's not really justified that he's not, but it is what it is. It is what he is. He's probably not going to win it. Saquon Barkley, should be talking more about it too, but he's not in it as well. Let's go to the rushing. Running back Jahmyr Gibbs was awesome. 18 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown, 6.5 yards a carry. He was great again. Once again, leading the pack. When David Montgomery out, and he's a super. He is a superstar. Jahmyr Gibbs is a cheat code, like my buddy Chris Wakeham likes to say. That's exactly what he is, a cheat code. Then running back Craig Reynolds, he had 7 carries for 31, doing his job as a backup. 4.4 yards a carry, can't ask for anything else. Wide receiver Jameson Williams had 2 carries, minus 2 yards, but he had a touchdown run. It was on one of those trick plays, lateral. It counts as a pass. It was a strange play. Sometimes I don't know if that's a touchdown pass or a touchdown throw with the lateral, all that stuff. But Williams got the touchdown run. 152 yards on the ground as a total unit with that the rushing. So they did their job. Receiving, wide receiver Jameson Williams led the pack too. 5 catches for 77 yards, touchdown, 15.4 yards a catch. He had 8 targets as well, led that group. Tight end Sam Laporta, 6 for 64 yards and a touchdown, 10.7 yards a catch, 8 targets as well. Wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches, 60 yards and a touchdown, 7.5 yards a catch. He led that group with 10 targets. Running back Jahmyr Gibbs had 4 catches, 46 yards. Like I said, versatile, doing his job on all levels. 11.5 yards a catch, 4 targets. Craig Reynolds even had 2 catches for 35 yards, 17.5 yards a catch, 2 targets. And wide receiver Allen Robinson got on the board with 1 catch for 21 yards, which is a big catch, 21-yard average and 1 target. So the receiving, they did their job. Amon-Ra, Laporta. Didn't see much of Tim Patrick, on Monday night, but everybody else contributing. Now go to defense. Linebacker Jack Campbell, he had 9 tackles. Safety Brian Branch had 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, quarterback hit, and a sack. I love Brian Branch. Okay, I love Brian Branch, but man, he is a hothead. He is a hothead. I thought the penalty was really cheap though, when he kind of just shoved the guy and the guy acted. Those San Francisco 49ers, man. I tell you right now, they like to get under your skin. If they like to get under your skin, you can see it, and they like to flop. I thought I saw LeBron James out there a couple times. They were taking flops, man. It was pretty bad. The refs bit. Hey, man, if you can get away with it, I guess, do it. But they flopped, man, a couple times. And when Branch kind of gave him a little bit of a shove, he did kind of the LeBron. But hey, man, and I love Brian Branch. He's got to keep a head to him, man. He's got to keep even keel, and he has trouble with that. He really does. Hopefully, it doesn't come bite him in the ass, bite our whole team in the ass. Cornerback Terry Arnold had 6 tackles. I thought he was horrific on Monday night. I thought he was really bad. But yeah, safety Kirby Joseph, 6 tackles, 2 pass deflects, and 2 huge interceptions in the fourth quarter. The second one locked it up. I thought he made a good play on the second one. Kind of stepped in front of, I think it was Pearsall. He stepped in front of, I don't know if it was Pearsall or Jennings. I can't remember. The first one I thought was a bad throw by Purdy. And the second one, it was kind of like you saw Kirby Joseph he kind of came out of nowhere, just stepped in front of the wide receiver. And I thought the second one was really nice. First one was he was just standing there. I thought it was an overthrow by Purdy. The linebacker, Trevor Nowoski, had 5 tackles and a quarterback hit. Safety, Ifeatu Melifonwu, had 4 tackles, quarterback hit as well. He's that hybrid guy. I think that's why they waived Jamal Williams right now, but he'll probably come back to the practice squad. Cornerback Amik Robertson, 2 tackles and pass breakup. That pass breakup was huge. It was on a 3rd down, too, I remember. I think late into the third quarter, but it was a very good play by Amik Robertson. It was a great play. It was just a really good play. Then defensive end, Miles Adams, 1 tackle for loss, quarterback hit, and a sack as well. Only 2 sacks on the day, one by Branch, one by Adams. The defensive lineman, Levi Muzurike, had a tackle and a quarterback hit, and then defensive end, Darius Smith, who was very quiet. He did have a quarterback hit, though. And then kicker, Jake Bakes, 2 for 2 on field goals, 57 long. I believe he missed his, he hit every single extra point except one. I think he was 4 for 5. Was it 4 for 5? I forget what it was, but yeah, he did miss an extra point. Punter, Jack Fox, 0 punts. San Francisco 49er punter didn't punt it at all either, by the way. Now let's go to the 49ers stats. Quarterback Brock Purdy, who I thought was really good. 27 for 35, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked twice, 77% completion percentage. You can't ask much more of him. I thought he had that one bad throw on the first Kirby interception. Second one I don't think was totally his fault. He didn't see the guy. I don't think a lot of guys saw him. Saw Kirby just came out of nowhere and just stepped in front of the wide receiver. And then Josh Dobbs came out too. He was 3 for 4, 35 yards. He ended up running for a touchdown. I got it written down here too. Rushing the ball, I thought the Lions did an exceptional job of playing the run again on defense, but you don't have to run against Detroit anymore. You just got to throw against them. That's it. But we'll talk about that. But running back, the rookie Isaac Guerrero had 9 carries for 34 yards on 3.8 yards a carry. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel he was 3 for 16 rushing. I think he had a touchdown too as well. I believe he had that was a pass. Sorry, but he was 3 for 16 on 5.3 yards a pop. And then quarterback Josh Dobbs was 1 carry for 7 yards and a touchdown, 75 yards total. Rushing the ball against Detroit, I thought Detroit did a good job playing run defense. But like I said, now receiving, wide receiver Ricky Pearsall owned that secondary. There was some times where I couldn't even believe how wide open he was. It was unreal. 8 catches for 141 yards, touchdown, 17.6 yards a catch. He was just awesome. Tight end George Kittle, 8 for 112 yards. He was unstoppable. Nobody could cover him either. A lot of linebackers and safeties can't in the NFL, so I don't expect much. I expected Kittle to go off anyways. 14 yards a catch. Wide receiver Juwan Jennings had 7 catches for 61 yards. He had a fumble. 9.6 yards a catch. Running back rookie Isaac Guerrero had 4 catches for 65 yards and a 16.3 yards a catch. And then fullback Kyle Juszczyk, 1 catch for 9 yards and a touchdown, 9 yards a pop on the 1 catch. And then wide receiver Deebo Samuel, 1 catch, 5 yards, a little pop pass, a quick little pop pass, touchdown. He had a fumble as well, too, 5 yards a pop on that 1 catch. So, Purcell owned us, Kittle owned us. Juwan Jennings had a very nice day too. The running back Guerrero had a nice day as well. A couple touchdowns mixed in there too as well. So, they did their job receiving. That's our Achilles heel, man. Our defense, especially our pass defense. And I'm not just blaming guys like Arnold and I'm putting it on guys like Vildor and I'm putting it on Branch and Kirby. Kirby did his thing. He stepped up. That's what playmakers do. But the secondary is a problem. This pass rush is a problem. And we'll get into it in a second, man. I just keeps popping up. And defensive end, Nick Bosa, 8 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits, 2 sacks. He was a nightmare. He was a nightmare. He was giving fits to even Sewell. He was giving fits to Sewell. He was giving fits to Decker. And he's not even 100%. Bosa is an animal. That's just a guy that is just a stud over there, and he recognized what Detroit had too with a quote after the game. He was like, "I see those guys are having a lot of fun over there. It seems like a really good team to play for." And he doesn't want to come to Detroit. It's not a bad thing. It's just game recognizes game. That's all it is. I saw some people freaking out, like some Lions fans. I'm not taking that guy. He's this, he's that. Blah, 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 blah. I'd take Nick Bosa in a heartbeat. He is a little bit of a Band-Aid. I'm not going to lie, but he's a stud when he's healthy. But he costs $1 zillion. He costs all kinds of money. We're about to pay all kinds of guys coming up again. Hutch is getting paid soon. We got guys on the other end in 2-3 years, like Branch, Kirby, those kind of guys. So, Bosa's not coming here, but, game recognizes game, and he was a stud. He was a stud on Monday night. He really was. 8 tackles from a defensive end is pretty outrageous. That's crazy. You know what I mean? The linebacker D Winters had 8 tackles. Cornerback Isaac Yiadom had 7 tackles. Safety Talanoa Hufanga had 6 tackles. Linebacker Fred Warner 6 tackles and a tackle for loss. Cornerback Ronaldo Green had 4 tackles and a pass breakup. Defensive tackle Malik Collins had 2 tackles and a tackle for loss as well. Defensive end Yatir Gross-Matos had a tackle and a tackle for loss. 0 punts, like I said. Jake Moody. I gotta get some people's opinions on this guy. This guy missed. He was 0 for 2 on field goals, 4 for 5 on extra points. Missed a 51 and I believe it was a 58-yarder. John Lynch didn't look very happy. This is the Michigan guy, man. I like Moody, but man, this guy has struggled mightily this year. Like, what's your take on this guy, man? This guy, I don't think he's going to be a 49er next year unless he really, really comes into camp next year and just proves that he's changed his ways. I just don't know what's going on with him. So who knows? But let's do some team stats real quick, then we'll talk about the game. We'll do the Lions first. Obviously, that 23 first downs. They were 9 for 14 on third downs, 2 for 3 on fourth downs. 152 yards rushing, 287 yards passing, 439 overall total yards, 2 sacks, 12 yards, 0 interceptions, 0 punts, 0 average, no punt, no average, 6 penalties for 57 yards. They had no fumbles and no fumbles lost, and they had 34 minutes and 52 seconds possession. I'll do the 49ers. They had 29 first downs, 5 for 8 on third downs, 1 for 1 on fourth down, 75 yards rushing, 400 yards passing, 475 total, 2 sacks, 16 yards, 2 interceptions thrown by Purdy, 0 punts, 0 average, 5 penalties for 30 yards, 2 fumbles, 0 loss, 25 minutes, 8 seconds of possession time. Now, let's talk about the offense and the defense. There's really no defense to talk about, okay? There's really no defense to talk about. But, I believe the 49ers had 3 touchdowns and 3 possessions. I believe the Lions were kind of getting in there too. I think, did they get stalled on the first one? It doesn't really matter, but, nobody punted. There was no punts. Now they were going for it. The 49ers went for it once. We went for it 3 times, total 4 times together. Jack Fox didn't have to do a thing. I don't know the punter's name in San Francisco. No disrespect. I don't remember his name. But those guys didn't do anything. They didn't have to do anything except, Jack Fox is a placeholder for the Lions. I don't know who's holding the ball for kicks in San Francisco. But Jack Fox is the holder for Jake Bates. So that's the only thing he did. That's the only thing he did. So there was no defense being played in this game. Late it was one of those games where, I was with my buddies hanging out watching this football game. We're watching it. You start talking during the game and you're like, if this is going to be one of those games where someone's going to make a mistake at the end of the game or someone's going to make a play, this is what's going to be. That's what's going to have to be. Or it's back and forth, and whoever has the last ball gets last possession is going to have a chance to kick a field goal. Didn't come down to that. But it came down to Kirby Joseph making plays at the end of the game. Mistakes. I thought the first interception, like I said, was a mistake by Purdy. Second one, I thought Kirby made a nice little play. He kind of came out of nowhere, stepped in front of the wide receiver. I believe it was Purcell Jennings. Doesn't matter. I thought Kirby showed up late in that football game. Now our defense, like I said, man, we were going up against a makeshift. It wasn't even a makeshift offensive line in San Francisco. That was a line that was literally made out of bubble gum and elastic bands. That was just a bad O-line. It's not because they got lack of talent. It's just the injuries. No Trent Williams. They were down their third left tackle, right tackles, third, fourth string. They called in a guy a week before to start. The center's struggling. Guards are terrible. Because they're all injured. We got 2 sacks. One from a safety, Brian Branch, and one from a guy that we just called up in the street a few weeks ago, who's playing good, Miles Adams, by the way. Zadarius Smith, we hit Purdy about 6 to 8 times. Not a lot. Flushed him out of the pocket a couple times. Nothing serious, so he had all day. Man. It's just we are going to live and die by the offense again. And it's not because of Brad Holmes and Aaron Glenn and lack of talent. It's just because injuries. They're catching up to us. They're completely. They've caught up to us. Let's just say it like that. There will be some homers out there that think that everything is fine. It's not. It's not fine. We are 14-2, and that's fantastic. We have a chance for the NFC North once again, back to back, and the NFC overall. Get that 1 seed. That's great. But I'm not going to sit here and say everything is fine, because it's not. Because it's really not. It's just not fine. Like, we're going to have to score 40 plus a game to win out now. This Minnesota game, we can't afford to punt once. And I don't think Minnesota can either. Minnesota's better off than us right now, I think, personnel-wise, as in health. Because I think we're going to be able to score against Minnesota. I really do. They have a great run defense, but Gibbs plays against this team very well. You can pass all over the Vikings. You can throw all over them. So, I'm kind of moving forward a little bit, and I shouldn't. I'm just concerned about this defense. Everybody did their job on offense on Monday night. Everybody. J-Mo, Amon-Ra, Laporta, Gibbs. The O-line I thought was good. Even the backups, Craig Reynolds doing his thing, man. Contributing. That's exactly what you want from a Craig Reynolds. Catching the ball in the backfield, having a nice average, running the football. That's what you want. But when it comes to this defense, I'm very nervous about this football game. And I'm not talking about it yet. But this has kind of been the way it's been, like, for the past over a month. The injuries started piling up, guys. Week 6, 5, whatever it was, and they started getting worse every week. Every week we were losing guys. You know, you lose a Davenport, you lose a Hutch, you lose a Barnes, you lose an Anzalone, a Carlton Davis. It's all adding up. It's all starting to catch up to us, and it's disheartening. It's disheartening. And we have a great football team. This is such a good football team. We would have just rolled through the NFC, man. We would have. So I'm projecting a little bit. I'm kind of going off a bit. I shouldn't be just yet. Just nervous. I love that we're 14-2. I love that we won another ball game. We're on top of the world right now. You know, I think we're power rankings. We're 3. I believe it's Kansas City, Buffalo, then us in the NFL power rankings. I'm not talking about individual guys out there. I'm talking about the actual NFL on power rankings. I believe we're number 3. And we deserve it. We deserve it. The Chiefs deserve it. The Bills deserve to be where they're at as well. You know, Minnesota's right there. So, you know, this 49ers team, it's a throwaway year. They got problems. They got stuff coming up with cap money, and they're going to pay this guy. They're going to pay that guy. They're going to release this guy. I'm not too worried about the 49ers right now. I'm actually worried about the Lions, and I'm concerned. You know, offense is a juggernaut. Like I said, I'll put up our offense against any team in the NFL any Sunday, any day of the week. I don't care if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Any day of the week. But I'm concerned. I got concerns, man. You know, this was a big win for them. I thought, a lot of people saying they didn't need to play all these guys and blah, blah, blah. Like they said, like Campbell said and like Goff said, there's some guys in the building that really wanted to play in this football game because of last year. They believe in momentum. Dan Campbell's a momentum guy. You know, they doesn't want to sit guys. He thought it was fair to those guys to play him. And he guessed right. Nobody got hurt. Anything could have happened. Goff could have went down. Branch could have went down. Amon-Ra, Sewell. It could have. And then he gets thrown under the bus. But there was some stipulations in his football game that, if we would have lost this game and then tied against Minnesota, we would have lost the 1 seed, lost the North. But now that we won this football game, we can tie next week. We can tie this game coming up. Last game of the year versus Minnesota Vikings. We can tie and still win the North. And still win the 1 seed. There's like an 8%, 9% chance, I think, of a tie happening in the NFL. So it's probably not going to happen. But it erases that. You can do that. But just my whole concern is the defense, man. And I can't stress it enough. I am extremely worried about this defense. We're going to need them to step up. Somehow, like a Kirby Joseph thing again, man. Someone's going to need to step up at the end of the game, crucial times, just to kind of go up by 10, go up by 14, 17 points. And then you can kind of play around with this offense because his offense is not going to let up. Ben Johnson is pulling out all the stops now. Expect Ben Johnson to reach deep into his bag coming up. And Campbell, forget about it. Actually, he should even tell Jack Fox not to even dress anymore. For what? He ain't punting. He's not punting if he's... I'll tell you, if we're on our 40, if we're on our 40, and it's a 4th and 2, 4th and 3, do not be shocked if he goes for it. Just kind of like he did against Buffalo. He did against Buffalo. I thought that was very early, though. That was early in the game, and I thought that was at the 30 or something like that, I believe, wasn't it? 25-30? Yeah, that I thought that was crazy. But right now, this is for all the marbles coming up. I'm veering off into this Minnesota game already. I'm already in this Minnesota game. Trying to figure out how they're going to win this game. Score 60. Score 60. Because Minnesota's scoring. They're going to score on you. On us. They're just going to. It's just not, it's inevitable. We can't escape it. You can't dodge it. It's a problem. And it's a problem. It just sucks because we have such a good football team. Obviously, we're offensive based. That's what We're a tough, gritty, no nonsense. We don't take no shit type of football team. But right now, this defense is taking it. It's taking it, man. And they're getting their faces put into the dirt right now. And we need guys like Branch, Kirby. Anzalone's supposed to be coming back. But we need some of these guys that are still healthy to step up somehow and make a play, especially against Minnesota coming up. Not in playoff mode yet. It pretty much is playoff mode. This is playoff mode, but we got to lock this up. We got to lock up this. We have to get home field advantage, I think. Yes, we're a great road team, 8-0, franchise record. Franchise record, 14 wins, franchise record. Like Dan Campbell said, nothing matters anymore though now. Like, that's great. It's a franchise record, great. Now he goes, now this is what it's all about. Winning the division, winning the NFC at home. Can they do it? I think they can. I'm just concerned, and I have every right to be concerned. It doesn't mean I'm not any less of a fan than some guy that just started watching football 2 years ago. To watch this team for 40 something. I'm 51 years old. I remember watching football when I was like 5 or 6. You know what I mean? Can't remember anything from last week or anything my wife told me 2 days ago, but I can tell you what happened in a football game in 1991, which is crazy. That's no disrespect to anybody. That's just the way men are built, man. So that's it, guys. That's it. Big win, 40 to 34. We did miss that extra point from Bates. Back on top. NFC North, NFC overall. It's temporary right now. Let's lock it up this week. Big win, guys. Let's go. Thanks for coming in, guys, and checking me out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button bottom right. Don't forget the notification bell up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Appreciate you guys, man. One pride, grit, Detroit Reserve, buddy. Let's go. Boom.